Is it just me, or does it seem like these partnerships, these announcements are picking up speed? Pay close attention to that. I'm telling you, especially look at how they're starting everything, right? It makes perfect sense. They're starting outside the US, all these announcements. What was the other one yesterday or the day before that? Deca Banks, they announced that. Now they have this going on. Ripple partners with BDACS for XRP RLUSD custody in South Korea, which we all know South Korea is huge when it comes to XRP. They love XRP. You might think I'm just talking if you're new to XRP and the whole, Ripple corridors and etc. But if you type it on Google, you'll see that they've literally done polls and found out that XRP is South Korea's favorite cryptocurrency. Even they've done multiple polls, okay? Even over Bitcoin. So that's huge, but they're starting outside the US. But what is in anticipation of is building up to the US SEC saying, hey, everything is in the clear with Ripple and everything attached to Ripple. And then they can start making all of these different announcements that are tied to the US, which will be huge catalyst. But they're building it up. If not, it's serving as a buildup to something much more potent, then there's no reason that they would be doing all of this now. They could have done some of it last year, the year before, and just released it little by little, but they're not. It's all leading up to the next few weeks. You got the Deca Banks thing going on. You have Archax working with other people, which Archax has connections to Ripple. Archax now working with other companies now. So they're expanding. So those connections are going to pay off. Ripple, Archax, a few other bank coin companies. Then you have this here, BDAX. It's all adding up. It's building up. There's a huge moment coming. But let's read a little bit about this. Let's find out what's going on a little bit more. It says here, Ripple Labs and South Korean custodian BDAX partner to offer institutional grade custody for XRP, RLUSD, and other crypto assets. Now, there's institutional grade. These institutions, when time comes, just look at how they've done with Bitcoin. And yes, Bitcoin has had some turbulence lately. That's nothing. We already talked about that. We called that weeks ago. I talked about the manipulation and the bringing down of the price, in which we're going to look at some evidence. In a few chapters, we're going to see some evidence of what's really going on. Just like I said, it was going to happen, is happening. And pay close attention to the reaction over the next few weeks. We'll get to that. Institution, they're not going to play around. They're going to pump that price at some point in the future. Of course, I do also believe after some time of stagnation, once the prices go up a little bit higher, that they will bring it down. They want to establish a rinse and repeat pattern, which will condition the minds of retail people. I'm telling you, retail people get conditioned by these big money entities very easily, right? They're moved back and forth by them very easily. So once institutions establish that, they're going to have a rinse and repeat process where they'll always be able to make money off of these things, and big money. They're not here for small money, big money. So when they sell and the price starts to go down, retail will sell and bring the price down even further. They will buy back in and ride that price up. They'll pump it just by the sheer retail viewing the big money people buying and the price going up. They'll start to buy again. They'll pump it through the media. Rinse and repeat. In my humble opinion, not financial advice. But this is very important. We're looking at XRP, one of the most respected cryptocurrencies when it comes to big money individuals, when it comes to the big companies. This is not a game. They play it like a game, but it's not a game because we're talking about life-changing, possibly generational changing sums of value. That's not a joke already. Once again, let's just establish it. You've had multiple articles cover it. Multiples of millionaires have been made back in 2021 and in 2024, tail into 2024, when crypto start popping off. Multiples of millionaires were made. Okay, so now if that is the case, what's going to happen in this next explosion, which most experts are anticipating to be much bigger than anything we've ever seen? And I think I'm going to differ from them a little bit here. I think there's multiple coming. There's no way there's not. I just don't see interbank payments happening at the same time, B2B cross-border payments happening at the same time as RWA. No, that's 3 different timelines. That's 3 different moments if you want to be more obtuse. And those three different moments could bring massive explosions in value if one just you look into the information. So them getting cozy with institutions to any degree is highly, highly strategic. You tell me this not. You tell me it's not. What do you think about that? It's highly strategic. It's conditioning. They're conditioning the companies to get used to the name Ripple. Trusting Ripple. What is custody other than trust? It's trust. So they begin to trust Ripple. And then over time, Ripple starts to float that idea, which won't be very difficult because the institutions already know they have something better to offer. Yeah, XRP, RippleNet. What happened to those advanced mechanisms that Ripple said they were going to roll out? We know they exist. We've looked into them deeply. They have very advanced mechanisms they can roll out for speeds, transaction speeds to be much faster, much more efficient, and cheaper. Those institutions, they know that. They know. Remember all those pamphlets and, documents they used to send to the companies? That's what it had in there. A lot of that information was in there. So they've been seeding the minds of those institutions for a long time. And it's almost time for the plant to grow. I'm a little excited. When I see stuff like this, I get a little excited. I do. Because I see pieces of the puzzle finally coming together in a big way. Ripple Labs has signed a strategic partnership with BDAX, a South Korean digital asset custody provider to support institutional custody for XRP and Ripple USD. The partnership announced on February 26 will enable BDAX to integrate Ripple Custody, the company's institutional crypto and digital asset custody solution, to safeguard XRP, which is showing here at the time of this article at $2.17, and Ripple RLUSD and other crypto assets for financial institutions in South Korea. Just the beginning. We're seeing the beginnings. We're seeing the buildup of all this energy. But let's move on to another article here. I want to just throw this one in there to show you this energy. It keeps building. It keeps rolling forward and is moving rapidly. Ripple is up next. Maybe even by the time I release this video, maybe they have cleared Ripple out. That could happen any day. Any day. Who knows when it's going to happen? But everyone's getting their cases dropped by the SEC. Here's more proof. If now isn't the time to be excited, I don't know when it will be. It says after Coinbase, SEC drops Gemini probe. Winklevoss demands, and then it goes into some other things. All right. But they dropped the Gemini probe. I think I saw an article where they were talking about consensus. Did they drop, their probes or lawsuits, whatever they had going against consensus? Did they drop that? Because I don't recall hearing that. I just saw briefly a headline, which is not an article that I'm covering here right now. But if that's also huge. If they did drop it against consensus, if you remember, Consensus, which is on Ethereum, they're an Ethereum company. They were one of our biggest competitors a long time ago when it came to CBDCs. What do they do now that they're unleashed? How bullish is that for Ethereum? Listen, I'm just asking questions. I don't have any Ethereum. I'm not an Ethereum supporter, but me seeing that automatically, I'm thinking to myself, if that's true and they did drop things against consensus, what happens now? Woo-wee. That could be potent if you're a lover of Ethereum, depending on what actually transpires now. But anyway, so they drop the Gemini probe. It says here, the exchange's co-founder claimed that the investigation cost Gemini tens of millions in legal fees. Right now, sir, that's inconsequential. You've just been freed. Time to hit the ground running. No time for lamentation. This is why I like companies like Ripple and all these other different Bitcoin companies. Once we get past something, we hit the ground running. They're serious about business and making deals and partnerships. They don't lament for too long. Maybe mention things here and there, but you see the work. They're constantly announcing work that they're putting in, things that they're doing that is positive for the chain. All right. And that's what I like to hear. But I just wanted to put that on your table about this, that this occurred. Every day we're hearing about someone get their case dropped. How long before it's Ripple, right? And what happens then? So now let's move on here to another article. We have a lot of news lately. If you miss a day, you're going to miss a lot. And there's so much news that every content creator, if one considers themselves such, could cover something different from a different angle. It's a lot here. So anyway, now we have this article here. Ripple president reacts to PayPal stablecoin move. It says here, Ripple president Monica Long has taken dig at PayPal. It's about to heat up. They know, Ripple knows they have a superior product. Ripple knows they have better partnerships. Ripple knows they have better potency. I don't know anybody from Ripple. I'm just calling it what it is. Am I a supporter of XRP, lover of XRP? Yes, I am. Yes. Long-term investor in XRP. Yes. But why? Because I know that it's one of the best, if not the best of the best. And I know the companies behind it, Ripple, SPI, Volante Tech. We could go on and on. I know that they work real hard, which puts a lot of potency behind it. It's as simple as that, in my humble opinion. That's how I look at it. You don't have to agree with me. Let's go. So, yes, they're better than PayPal and they can speak on these things. According to a recent report by Bloomberg, global payments giant PayPal plans to bring its stablecoin to more of its products. Okay. Millions of merchants will be able to use. PayPal has big problems. I'm trying to remember if they were the one. I know Cash App has also, all of these things have had problems. Then they have a whole thing where they fine their people for certain things. You can't even say certain things. If they catch you on social media saying certain things, they'll issue a fine to you and keep your money. They've rubbed the customers wrong in a lot of different ways. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. If we're into business, we have to call it what it is when it comes to things that affect business. All right. Listen, they're not going to be able to compete with us. Not going to happen. We don't have anything held against us when it comes to the regular people. And we're about to be clear about it. SEC pretty soon. We can offer the regular people things that they can't. Simple as that. Now let's read the rest of this here. Millions of merchants will be able to use PYUSD stablecoin later this year with the company's bill pay product. Why use that over USDC? Why use that over Tether? Once DLT is fully unleashed, it will dominate. Things like this will be a thing of the past. It says here, Ripple president Monica Long has commented that this development, quote, sounds familiar, unquote, seemingly taking a veiled dig at PayPal. Once again, we've seen the legacy system try to conscript things that the DLT system, the new financial system, is doing. They try to conscript it and use it in their own way instead of congealing with us. That's not going to work. The banks found that out the hard way. Do you think that these legacy NBFIs are not going to find out as well? Yes, they will. They're doing something new because what they've been doing has not been working for them. It hasn't. And they're going to be losing business, probably have lost a lot of business to DLT already, to digital wallets already. So they're trying to get in on the game. Ripple launched its own stablecoin product in December after securing the necessary regulatory approval. The stablecoin is meant to provide liquidity within the vast Ripple ecosystem. We know about that. Let's move on here to another article. I'm trying to get through as many as possible today. All right. So I'm keeping it rolling one into the next. Like I said, there's a lot of news to cover. BlackRock Bitcoin fund sheds $420 million as ETF losing streak hits day 7. See, first of all, let's just take away that negativity right there. Losing streak. Don't make it emotional. Take the emotion out of it. Look at what's really going on. They're selling. Didn't I say that they would do this majorly if they wanted to bring down that price? Now, here's the thing. Watch for when they start buying again. Watch what, that's going to tell a lot. Watch the other asset managers. I said this before. A lot of people are not going to do that. They're going to jump in late again if they want to ride that wave back on up. If they didn't buy Bitcoin super low as it is, in the past. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, not financial advice. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust has recorded its biggest single day outflow since launching in 2024. But why wouldn't they do that? See, I try to put logic to everything. If you were holding a ton of Bitcoin like they are, or any of these large asset managers, and you were the sole reason that the price was propped up, as you can see, them selling also brought it down. But you were one of the reasons why it was propped up. And if let's say you knew countries were going to start to buy Bitcoin, you knew that states within the United States were going to begin buying Bitcoin, why would you not sell? Sell it, bring the price down, let them buy from here, right? And at the same time, maybe you'll start to buy as well strategically at different points. Ride that price all the way up and then sell on them again. Let's sell on them. See, I think, and maybe I didn't lay that out as well as I probably should have, but I think you get the idea, right? Why wait for them to buy in and sell on you when you can put yourself in a position to sell on them? Right now, there's a battle happening. They're playing it strategically for the future. They're playing future chess, positioning themselves to benefit from that rise in price. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. Then retail sells and a lot of other businesses sell, brings that price down more. So then maybe BlackRock and other asset managers can buy it a little lower, ride that price up, because they're going to have a lot of new clients also. That's another thing. A lot of their new clients are going to be buying for the first time. Buy it in at a lower position, ride that price on up, and then when they want to sell, they're in profit. They're taking profit, as opposed to the other side doing it the other way. So I think that's one of the big dynamics here. You tell me, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But I don't think I am. I think I'm on the right line of thinking. I do. So I think that's a lot of what's going on here. That's why I anticipated things like this. Anybody could say, well, Bitcoin's going to go down at some point. But no, I'm talking about specifically for specific catalysts. And it's going to go back up for those very same catalysts. You see, because nations, states, and large asset managers do want Bitcoin, they have to have it. Right now, Bitcoin is in such a golden position, in my humble opinion, because they have to have it. Once again, I want to say, not financial advice. Let me just share my thoughts. Bitcoin right now, and I think shortly into the future, it's not going to be a permanent thing. For these large asset managers and countries, it's going to be easy money. I do. I think it's going to be easy money until everybody's in. Once you see the majority of companies and countries into Bitcoin, I'm telling you now, red alert, red flag, be careful. It's time to move on to something else, maybe. And if it hits a stagnation point, now it can finally be the whole store of value that people want it to be, since they want it to be like gold so much. But until then, I think they're looking at it. They're looking at it as easy money. I do. All right. So now let's move on here. That's what I think about that. Let's see what this other one is. I had another Bitcoin. And once again, more proof. So you have BlackRock doing that. Then you have this article here, which says Bitcoin mega whales, the primary sellers. Why? Can you tell me why? It's not every effect has a cause. What's the cause here? They're all doing it at the same time. There's clearly a catalyst. Clearly. And once again, just like there's a correspondence between things, right? Everything's reflected in each other. So what regular people tend to do, they think they're the only ones who do these things, like get into group chats and discords and these groups and try to plot. We're going to pump it. We're going to do this. We're going to sell at the same time. The big companies do that also. They get on a phone. They take meetings. They have quadruple encrypted messaging systems that they call each other on, communicate on, and they say, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're thinking. What do you think about that? This is what my team has. I'll have my people contact yours, have our research teams, come together, analysts come together, but this is what we're thinking about doing. And then they do it. Once again, mega whales, multiple primary sellers. Why all at the same time? Why? And then people will point to things that are political, geopolitical, the economic. Listen, sure, there's a lot going on with economies, but there always has been. That's not enough. I don't believe that's enough potency in whatever's happening economically. I mean, how much has the M2 money supply changed? How much have things really changed with inflation? I don't think it's enough to really have that type of power to move these things. But I do think it will be used as a smokescreen for sure, an excuse, sure, to throw regular people off because they'll accept answers very easily. They do. The first thing that a lot of people hear from the mainstream media, it's economic. This is happening in the economy and this is happening in politics. They just take it and they want it for comfort. They take that comforting first thing that they're told and they don't look any deeper, when it doesn't mean that just because that comforts you doesn't mean that that's the truth. A lot of times it's not. The media is in people's pockets. They're in people. They're in pockets. They're not even enemies. I told you my experience. They're not even enemies like they portray themselves to be. This news network doesn't like this news network because this one represents these people over here. That's not real, folks. It's not real. When I was younger and I was in the media and I was around some pretty powerful people. I'll just say it like that. And I saw it firsthand. I told this story before, but we have a lot of new people on the channel. And I saw this network over here that represents these people come into a gathering with these people who are supposed to be like their enemies. They talk bad about each other on TV all the time. Then when they're in the same gathering, they're shaking hands, laughing together. It's fake. That stuff is fake. So that what that tells me, they're in people are in their pockets. There's money to be made there from that control of media, from that manipulation of perception. Anyway, so I think it's dangerous to trust the mainstream media. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying. My humble opinion. You could believe what you want. All right. So when I see something with my own eyes, I don't deny myself what I saw. All right. I don't deny that reality. That's dangerous. All right. So now let's go on here. It's just like a lot of, I'll tell you something else before we get to this last article. We'll close out with a lot of your celebrities here. Yeah. Mick is telling it all today. I'm telling you what I saw. A lot of your celebrities that are on your TV right now. I had encounters with them back then. I'll just say that we were in the same places at certain times. They're not who you think they are. They're not. And what do I mean by that? They're not happy at all. Oh, my word. I'm telling you, these people that when you see them on the TV, they're celebrating and they're trying to advise people and they're trying to influence people. And you think they have this great life. No, they don't. No, they don't. I wasn't the only one there. It was a lot of us. Everybody knows this. Some of these people are some of the most depressing people you've ever seen. Be careful with the media of any kind. I'm telling you, it's a lot of it's fake. I'm telling you. Anyway, you don't have to take my word for it, but listen, at this point in my life, I'm going to give you 100% the raw, honest truth that from my experience. That's all I can do. So anyway, now, we're going to skip this one. I'm going to get back to the crypto news. This is what a bank related news. But I want to skip that one. Let's go to Cardano because, Charles Hoskinson, he's been, as some people on the channel used to say, talking spicy lately. Yeah, they taught me that phrase. Channel people taught me that phrase. I'm old school. I don't know about any spicy talk, but I learned that from subscribers. They teach me a lot here. Charles Hoskinson, very excited about a partnership. What partnership is this? This is Cardano-based project Midnight, which aims to create zero-knowledge data protection-based sidechain, has teamed up with blockchain security heavyweight Open Zeppelin to introduce a specialized smart contract framework for privacy-preserving applications. He did say a few, maybe about a week and a half ago, Charles Hoskinson was talking about how he wanted Cardano to be the security layer for crypto. Listen, Mr. Hoskinson, whatever you've been doing, I don't know what you've been meditating or something. Keep doing it because I like what you're talking about. Now you just have to bring the stuff to fruition. But man, he's been on fire lately. Okay, so they have this partnership. There you go. He wasn't, talking trash. He was serious. The collaboration lauded by Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, aims to equip developers with robust tools and standards for building data protected applications across multiple chains. He said that also. So clearly he was talking to these people before this partnership was finalized. Oh, see, that proves something. Now, remember, I told you a lot of these CEOs, CTOs, they say things that they're hinting at something they already know is done. It's a deal they're trying to do, but they're talking about it beforehand. So they'll talk about it very vaguely. They won't mention names, but it indicates that they already have a deal in place. That's exactly what he just proved and what he did. Weeks ago, he was talking about he wants Cardano to be a security layer, this and that. And I believe that it's because of this. He was already talking to them, setting it up. This doesn't happen overnight, but he mentioned it and talked about it before the deal was done. So he didn't mention names. Now he can come out with it and say, now this is why I said what I said, or it just proves that that's why he said what he said. But it also proves that others like Ripple and Chainlink and Solana, they probably do similar. When they're speaking about something, it's because they have a deal in place, but they just can't say names just yet. That is eye-opening. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.